right, is this thing on? Yeah? Oh, come on, there's more claps than that. I heard it's like 2 people in the back. Let's go, come on. Welcome to Ignite. Happy to be here. I think the first big one in person since the events earlier in the decade, so it's good to be back. It's good to be on stage. Good to see all your smiling faces. And thank you to everybody who's also attending on the live stream as well from far and wide, and those of you who flew here from far and wide today. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the packed house. Folks, there are some seats. If you're sitting on the floor, I see some seats spread out, so if you want to go have a seat, we can do that. So we're going to talk about business websites, a very exciting topic this morning. It's one I know I get out of bed and get really excited to build this morning. So my name's Justin Graham. I'm the general manager of our Power Pages business as well as our Power Apps mobile business, and I'm joined by my head of product, Rahul Day, who's here all the way from Bengaluru, India, to help talk about how we're infusing AI into Power Pages to help you build more intelligent business portals to externalize your business websites. So we're going to start off by giving a little bit of an overview of what Power Pages is. And I'm going to start off, get asked this question quite a bit. What is Power Pages? What is a business portal? Why does it matter? Why be in this business in the first place? How can we help you? And the best way I describe this, in your business, the one website everybody knows about is the marketing website. That's yourcompany.com, that marketing controls. Whoop. Sorry? Is it? No, it's on. This is the way the slide builds. Glad you're awake, though. That was a test. Everyone's awake. We're good. Coffee, tea. Okay, we're good. God, you scared me. That was terrible. So marketing has the website everyone knows and controls and understands. That's usually run by one of 2 vendors that are very, very deep in this experience space and personalization and marketing space. But on the flip side, if you also have a business that's in e-commerce, you also have well-known software and well-known CRMs and well-known e-commerce software that backs what you do on your e-commerce website to sell product, get things in front of customers, get product moving. But it's all the other types of portals and websites that your business needs to run that sits in between these 2 things that often gets forgotten about, often doesn't have a platform, and one that gets the phone call to Central Tech to say, hey, we need an external portal to do deal registration. We need an external portal for customer success or support. We need an external portal for baggage claim assistance, or membership, or support, or partnerships, or supply chain, or any one of the hundreds of other parts of your core business processes that need to be externalized. And those are the use cases that Power Pages really, really excels at in helping you externalize your business processes over business data through a business portal. And when I talk to customers far and wide and I ask the question, well, what do you use for any externalized business process or portal that's not your marketing website or that's not your e-commerce website? The most popular answer I get is, we stitch something together. We grab some open source components, we grab some UI components, maybe we borrowed a slice off of what marketing uses occasionally, although it might be expensive to do that. But there's a varying amount of answers. But if you ask marketing, what do you use for the marketing website, there's 2 answers. If you ask e-commerce team, what do you use for the e-commerce website, there's usually 1, maybe 2 answers that are standard in the market. So we want every business unit who has a need for an external portal to have an answer, and that answer be Power Pages, and you can standardize on that platform for all of the other business needs on top of business data. So I talked about some of these use cases already, but there's many, many more than this. And we already have thousands of customers that are using Power Pages for externalization of these types of business processes in a wide array. So since we're in Chicago, You probably flew here on either American or United or an American or United partner. I didn't, I flew Delta, but that's a different story. But American Airlines uses Power Pages for their baggage claim portal assistance, but they use something else that drives all of the ticket sales and everything else. The city of New York and the state of New York use Power Pages to run the NYC 311 and a number of the other information websites for tourism in New York City, as an example. The Veterans Administration MyVA portal runs on Power Pages as well. So many portals that you may interact with on a daily, monthly, weekly basis, or even yearly basis, you may be using a website running on Power Pages that you never knew was running on Power Pages. And we've constructed this platform to make it available for use across a wide array of tech fluencies. So it is part of Power Platform, which means its heart and soul lives in low code, and it integrates with the rest of the Power Platform suite behind the scenes, things like Power Automate, Dataverse, and as you'll see today, and Rahul will demo, Copilot Studio and some of the new autonomous and conversational agentic capabilities that we're bringing to market that you've heard about yesterday and today as well. But we want both the business and IT to be able to partner together to get these types of business portals shipped quickly and to be supported, secure, governed, and administered properly so that everybody has a good time running the business against these things. And as two slides on a modicum of scale, so as of last week, there are, in any given month, there are over 325 million visitors to a Power Pages portal or website in any given month. And that number is up over 100 million from last year at this time, and up over 40 million since only 6 months ago. So we have customers bringing online at a rapid pace these types of business portals almost on a monthly basis. And one of the benefits that our customers tell us is our ability to handle extremely high scale for the needs that they have for these types of business portals. So we handle, I think that number is now eclipsed 3 billion website requests a month at 3 nines plus reliability and a very high peak throughput. And one of the biggest benefits is if you're currently hosting one of these types of portals on a homegrown solution, you have to worry about all of the infra behind that, where to host it, all the networking and everything. Pages takes care of all of that for you. You just have to know what type of portal you want to design over what type of data. We have connectors that'll help you. Rahul will talk about that. And we handle all of that behind the scenes, including things like DDoS protection, and other types of security protection as well, so you don't have to worry about those types of things. So that overview being said, I'd love to play a quick use case for you from Kelly Services that talks a little bit about how they've used Power Pages.
Staffing agency and workforce solutions provider Kelly wanted to create a custom portal that would act as a one-stop shop for customers' unique needs. Kelly used several Microsoft Power Platform products to build their centralized talent management platform, Kelly Helix UX. Power Pages provides the front end for Helix UX to create the portals, while Dataverse works on the back end to store data. Kelly also uses Microsoft Power Automate to automate processes and provide both customers and their internal teams with seamless experiences. As a result of the new platform, Kelly could now serve more than 38,500 customer inquiries daily and saw increased customer satisfaction. Hope Bradford, Senior Director of IT at Kelly, noted of their Power Platform experience. When we first began, it took us nearly a month to go through the entire process of getting a portal provisioned, getting access, configuring all the components, and building the actual site. Today, using Power Pages, we have cut that process down to a week or less in some cases. The management platform Kelly developed with Power Platform has exposed customers to Kelly services they didn't necessarily seek out before, increasing the value that Kelly can provide to customers. Check out the full Microsoft Power Platform customer story.
Awesome. Real-world use case, core line of business for Kelly, something that's really had an impact on their business. And what I love about that, and I don't know if you caught the little nugget around Power Automate, one of the best parts about Power Pages is we take all the goodness of low code and we allow you to use that goodness outside of the firewall. But whatever happens through that portal that needs to kick off workflow inside the firewall, all of that can be wired up with all of the other Power Platform tools to kick off workflow and execute workflow internally, whether it's Power Automate, Copilot Studio, Power Apps, et cetera. So given that we've been in market for a little bit of time, we've actually managed to assess the economic impact of our customers who have used Power Pages thus far to ship their portals. And in short, the 3-year ROI for those customers is 207%, as well as a 25% reduced downtime for new web applications that are shipped on Power Pages versus their previous solution. And there's a link at the bottom if you want to go check that out on Forrester's website, but I'll also post that at the end of the show in the chat for folks to go take a look. So now that we've kind of taken a look at what Pages is, how some customers have used it, I now want to jump in to think about how we're going to be infusing AI into portal experiences to move from what we call, I'll say, standard portals to intelligent portals. First, we believe an intelligent portal has 3 components: highly personalized experiences, intelligent assistance, and autonomous agentic experiences that all come together for time saved in getting the portal, not only getting the portal built, shipped, and launched, but also time saved for your end users needing to complete the portion of the business process or the interactions that you need them to complete. Filling out a form, filling out a loan application, registering a deal, filing a claim, all of those things, we want to reduce the amount of time and increase the efficacy of those things being completed by your end users in a much smarter way and with much happier end users as well. So when we think about infusing AI into this platform, it's both as tools for you to use to create sites faster, but also tools for your end users to use to be more efficient in completing what you need them to do on that business portal. So we think about that across all of these areas of focus. Development, which is building the portal, agentic experiences for end users, connectivity and integrations to that secure business data that you need to expose potentially on the portal, and of course the security and governance experiences as well. I'm going to talk to the first 2 and then pass it off to Rahul to talk to the last 2 bits of what those things entail. So I'll first start off, one of the biggest asks that we got from customers when we started to embark on this AI and agentic experiences train about 1.5 years ago is how can you help us get started faster and shipping portals faster? How can we reduce that time from months to weeks or even days? And one of the first things that we tested and built on was the ability to create a site with Copilot through natural language. So instead of starting from blank or starting from a very bare bones template, you can now describe the type of business portal you need. I want to create a business or a loan application portal. I want to file a claim portal, or I want to create a customer support portal. And we can take that and then help you iterate on that and get you to a sort of generated template that gets you farther along than you would on your own, either from starting from blank or from a basic template. And this is now generally available in the product so that you can use this to get your journey started much faster. We've also taken it a step further once that you complete that step, and you can now use Copilot to help with the page design and component design of building out the components of that portal beyond just what the natural language creation allows you to do. And we're actually doubling down even more on the styling and design components as another big piece of feedback we continue to get from customers. So we're working hard on including other design components that are more modern and giving you much more control over this. But this is also now generally available with Copilot inside of the Maker experience for Power Pages. Next, we're actually going to talk a lot about forms. Websites that include some type of form or multi-step forms are the most popular types of business portals that are created with Power Pages. So we've included the idea of multi-step forms within Power Pages, and Rahul is going to give a demo a little bit later to show you some really groundbreaking, net new, hot off the press stuff around forms. But we spend a lot of time making sure that the form components are very robust, very deep, and allow you to create the exact type of forms that you need to create for your use case, but also, as Rahul will talk about a little bit later, making it as easy and as high efficacy as possible for the end users who consume these forms and give data to the process to be able to do so as fast and as efficiently as possible with as little typing as possible. So this is also generally available in the product, and then some of the other stuff Rahul will talk about that's exciting is coming up. We also know that we can't cover everything in a low-code studio that you might want to do. And we also know from our research that many of the folks who end up building these types of business portals internally at your companies tend to lean a little more pro-developer to start. So we've spent a lot of time building deep integrations into our developer division tools like Visual Studio and GitHub. So in public preview, we have Copilot in Visual Studio Code that that's Power Pages specific, that you can add into Visual Studio. So while you're editing your Pages website in Visual Studio, it syncs back with Pages, so there's always a accurate reflection of what you're building in custom code inside of Pages, but also that the code can be interacted with natural language, functions can be created in natural language, code can be checked in natural language, and we can ensure that what you're writing will work as well as possible inside of Pages as well. This is in public preview, and we hope to GA it within the next 6 months or so. We also have created an integration with GitHub Copilot as well to help edit site code as well. So if you're used to GitHub Copilot and you've had a lot of success using that, this now works in preview with Power Pages as well, so that you can view the source code of all of the pages that you're editing and use ALM type functions in those things within GitHub as well. And we're going to continue to deepen these integrations and not fork our own path in these cases. We want to ride the same waves that both Visual Studio and GitHub are with their improvements in AI. So we will draft off that and then make sure that Power Pages capabilities work very closely with the innovations that GitHub and Visual Studio and other developer division tools are building. This is also in preview. All right, so all of those things covered things that we're doing in the maker experience, which is creation of portals. Now we'll cover some things that are happening that we're putting in for end users or those who consume those business portals that you ship and publish. The first and biggest thing that we've most recently announced is we've introduced what's called a Site Copilot for end users within Power Pages, and this is now generally available for you to use in production. And the idea behind this is giving you the ability to create a guardrailed Copilot for your end users of your portals, business portals, to use to navigate that portal more quickly, get to where they need to get quickly, and if that also requires input as well, to be able to get to that input and fill it out as good as possible. And new within Site Copilot is the ability for authenticated users, if you do have a portal that requires authentication or has that, for the Site Copilot to be able to surface information to that authenticated user that they have access to through their account, but not surface any information to anonymous users that they wouldn't have access to if they're not authenticated as well. And this is all governed through an advanced and very robust set of security and governance and admin controls in the Power Platform Admin Center as well. And Rahul will give a demo of this a little bit later. But this is our first generally available feature that integrates Gen AI for end users in a business portal, and it's one of the first in the industry to do so as well. Next, in preview, we also have put into play an AI-driven site search. So one of the hardest problems to solve in any sort of website or business portal software is search functionality, because let's be honest, end users want a certain search engine or two to work everywhere, but those things are really hard to do in sort of guardrail within an enterprise context. So we've worked really hard on providing very robust search capabilities within Power Pages. We've now added to that with generative AI. So now you can describe a search term or a function that you want to complete, and the search bar will not only return results, but will summarize those results and then try to anticipate where you want to go and give you the best path forward at the top of the results page to try to get you where you want to get. This is also controlled by highly robust governance controls and security controls as well, so we don't have any incidents of public LLM knowledge being bled into your search results on your enterprise portal. So there's a high amount of control you have on this as well. All right, and then in addition to that, a very similar feature in preview is web page summarization. So the site visitors can get a quick view of what web page content, so think about summarization in terms of not having to view a sitemap or read blocks and blocks of text if you want to. If they don't want to, they can use the site summarization feature to summarize the page and then move on to another page if it's something they want to get to. This is also now in public preview. Next is one I'm super excited about, which is AI-driven form assistance and data insights. So we've gotten a lot of data and telemetry and conversations from customers that form assistance and form filling is one of the most popular use cases to create a business portal, but also one of the hardest things to design in the maker experience to get the data from the end user that you want in a high efficacy, consistent type of way. So what we've done is ingested a lot of the AI intelligence into our form filling to help end users be able to get assistance with form filling. I'm not going to spoil the demo a little bit, but there's a pretty cool set of demos that Rahul is going to take you through that'll show you this. But the idea is to be able to use natural language, photos, or anything that can actually help a user fill out a form. So think about, instead of filling out all of the passport details when you're filling out a visa application, being able to upload a photo of your passport, upload a photo of all of the visa stamps you have in that passport, or upload a history of plane tickets you've purchased, and have the form assistants be able to fill out that form with countries you visited, your passport number, your birth date, things like that, without you having to type all of those things in. And also very, very hot off the press in preview is agentic form filling as well, which will actually help have an agent behind the scenes of form filling for end users to help that end user fill out that form in even a higher efficacy way. We've just put this into preview very recently, and we're very, very excited to get all of your feedback on this as well. The early testing with some early customers has been really positive. I've actually really enjoyed it as well, testing it on some of my own portals. So this is one we're really excited about, and really our first foray into trying to bring agentic experiences to end users of business portals that are outside the firewall in a very safe, guardrailed way that you can control. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Rahul to give you a quick demo and then take you through some of the rest of the
Hi, everyone. So before I do the demos, probably a couple of things to set the context. So what you are going to see is right hot off the press, and I'm going to show you the web agent, which is an autonomous copilot, and I'm also going to show you an important feature enhancement on the site copilot. So we'll start with site copilot. Let me get my screen there. Okay, it's already there. Thanks. So Site Copilot has been there. It's already GA'd now. It's there since last 1 year. And what we have been seeing is we have been talking to our customers, getting feedback, and the whole idea is to make sure that we change the way users interact with the website. So if we take a step back, what AI is doing is changing the standard paradigm of how you interact with a website. So if you see normal bots, conversational bots which were there on websites can talk to you or respond to you on the website metadata. You can find out about things. You can find out about a certain process. But what we have done is we have gone ahead, and now this bot or this autonomous agent can also answer to you on details on your account information. So we'll take an example of Woodgrove Bank. I'm the customer of a Woodgrove Bank. I go and log in, and I go to my credit card transactions. I go to my account, I go to my credit card transactions. Now, what you see first is a set of AI insights, and this is generated on the fly. So I get insights, and these are rich quality insights. If you go through them, you can see it talks about the frequent transactions. It talks about how well I have been paying off my dues. It talks about different parameters on which I have been spending, probably grocery, coffee store, and things like that. And you also can change the way you visualize this information. So you have the bar chart. You have a different kind of charts here. And the good part is this can be enabled by the maker very seamlessly, almost like a one-touch enablement, and I'll show you this. For example, if this is the list, the maker has to just go and click on Insights, and with natural language, the maker can add what kind of insights they want to add. For example, they want bar chart, line chart, column chart, things like that. And they can also give instructions to this autonomous agent to probably show data in a certain way. I'll go back to my insights, and I'll also show you that you can filter this data. Let's say I want to filter and look at my spends on coffee. And you can see that the insights will now refresh, and it will provide you all your coffee spends. It will talk to you about your coffee spends. It will give you the detail, the timeline, and things like that. So if you step back and think, these features or these kind of interactions were never a part of a standard website. People had built apps where they would do custom UI to do some of these interactions. But now with AI, the maker can easily enable interactive elements like these. I'll come to the site copilot, which I was talking about. And this is the site copilot. It's already authenticated. I'm logged in as a user of this bank. And let me type something. I want to know average transaction amount in grocery store. And what this copilot should do is it should tell me about my spends on grocery. And it also gives a list of all my grocery spends, which I can open in a new page and see. So if you see, it says the average transaction amount in grocery store is $104. And if I open this page, it gives me a filtered list of all my grocery store spends. So you can see how we are reimagining the interactions. So these are all on the fly, rendered on the fly using AI. And you can, again, go to the site copilot and ask about your coffee spends, things like that. So that's one part of the demo. I'll now jump to the web agents, which is very interesting because we have taken this concept a step further. So again, coming back to the interactions, today you have to come to a site to interact with the site, with information on the site. Or like, let's say I am an account user, I want to submit a claim for an insurance. I have to come to the site to submit a claim. What we have done is we have created an autonomous copilot which can work while you are on the site, but it can also reach out to you on different channels. So I'll try to show you how it reaches out to you on Teams, but as I said, it's right off the press, so fingers crossed that it works. I'll open the insurance site as a user. Let's say this is my insurance site as a user. And the first thing I'll show you is how can you enable this on the Design Studio. Let's say I'm a maker, and I want to enable the autonomous copilot on a form. And this form is all about submitting claims for your insurance or getting an insurance quote. So what I can do is I can come here. You see something called as agent. And what we have done in Power Pages is we have created an agent for you. So we know the context of the form. We know what kind of information you are looking from your end users. What we have done is we have created an agent right out of the box with the right security roles. All you have to do is review, confirm, and publish. Of course, you can go to the Copilot Studio. The agent is extendable there. You can go, you can test it out. But let's say if you don't want to do all of that, you can right away choose and publish it from here. And once you publish, let's say the user of the site can see the agent in multiple surfaces. So if you see, this is the same site Copilot surface, but now it says an insurance agent. And what I can do is I can probably ask it to give a quote for car insurance. So what you see is now your whole form filling activity, which used to happen in a certain page in a certain way, you can do it here. It asks you, what's your full name? Let me give my full name. We have intentionally kept it short so that we run through it quickly. Let me put some quick inputs. So let's say I choose comprehensive and I do a submit. So what it shows me is a summary of what all I have filled out, and it gives me an option to submit right here in this pane. So I don't have to go to the form, and imagine the benefits when it comes to a multi-step form. You can upload a document right away from here, you can provide the necessary missing information, and you can do it. Now comes the interesting part. Can I do it without even coming to the website? And the answer is yes. I can do it on Teams. And Teams is just one example of a channel. We will continue add more channels. So let's say in the Teams, you have an agent. You have to go to your apps, and you will find that agent and add the agent. And once you add the agent, you can ask exactly the same question. Let's say I ask the same question, get a car insurance quote. And I can follow the same flow. The reason why you see there's an image is just to show that you can actually enter content there. So you can enter a video there, you can enter your marketing information, all of that, what helps the user in filling it out. So the potential is to reach every possible channel where your users are, and they don't really need to come to your site to complete their activity. So that brings me to the end of the demo. I'll go back to the slides, and I'll probably cover a
You just hit the 4. Yeah, we're up.
It's coming?
You just hit the forward thing.
Yeah, okay. So I'll cover these two sections. I'll cover them relatively quickly because I want to, again, save some time at the end for a quick demo. And these are the features. For example, you can now build, not now, these are the features which has been there for a year almost, and now they are generally available. Your data is not just limited to Dataverse. You can actually leverage Dataverse virtual tables to build data on different data sources. For example, Dynamics 365 F&O. We have integrated with Salesforce, Oracle, SQL, and you can pretty much do everything. Like you can create the out-of-the-box components on these data, and you can actually build your website using data from multiple sources. Here we talk about the e-signature integrations. These are first-party integrations. Again, we heard from a lot of our customers that since Power Pages is so heavily used in form-filling scenarios, what about having a out-of-the-box integration for things like e-signature, for things like payment providers? And again, we have made it very simple for the user. You can go to the setup workspace, enable it, put your secret keys, and then the maker can come, and in the flow of adding things in the form, using low-code, they can add these integrations. So this talks about the payment provider integration, which follows the same pattern. You go to setup workspace, you have an external apps. And the good thing is we also provide the admins of these organizations a quick view into which are the sites which have any external integration, so that if admins realize that, let's say I don't want a payment provider integration in a certain site, they can go and stop it. I'll quickly move on to security and governance. The bread and butter scenario of Power Pages is external-facing sites. And when we talk about external-facing sites, the first thing what comes to your mind is, how do I make it secure? How do I have all the levers I need to administer and govern them well? So I'm covering it in probably a couple of slides here. We just did a session on it in the morning. So in Pages, we take this very seriously, and right from the start, we have been focused on ensuring that admins can govern and secure their sites at scale. Because we realize that, the admin to maker ratio is probably somewhere around 1:50, even 1:100. So the admins are the one who probably put the guardrails, and they have to do it across scale, which means in the tenant, you have 100+ apps, you have 100+ websites. How do you do it at scale? So what you see here is a inventory view and a security view. These are a part of the PPAC. you would have heard the announcement on the new PPAC experience. So it follows a hub architecture. It's a brand new experience which allows you to be very effective in managing your resources because everything is neatly segregated into different hubs. So you have a hub for security, you have a hub for Copilot, you have a hub to manage your inventory, things like that. So you will find Power Pages in those hubs, and I want to show you that as well. So there's an inventory view where you can see a list of all your sites across the tenant. And it's not just a random raw data. We also characterize it so that you can quickly look into the information you want. For example, how many public sites are there? How many private sites are there? How many sites are there which probably have a SSL certificate which is expiring? So we give a lot of pointed information so that, if you don't have to go through the entire data to sort and find information relevant to you. The same goes with the security view. It's a part of the security hub. And this is a single surface for you to come and check on the security posture of your sites. So you have all information right from the sites, number of sites who have anonymous access enabled, from the number of sites who are using a certain kind of authentication providers, the number of sites who are using external integration, and you can get, and also we have introduced something called a deep scan. This is like a typical pen test which you use on your websites today. Any enterprise website does a pen testing. What we have done is we have hosted it for the maker. So the maker has a way to run all these pen tests, and we also provide a comprehensive report of these tests. A report which not just tells you which all things they are failing, but a report which also tells you in the context of Power Pages, how do you go and fix them. So I'll try to show that demo. Again, on the same lines, you have another two observability views, which is around analytics and your license consumption. Again, analytics is something we provide out of the box. So when your maker comes and asks you that, I have built a certain site, what is happening with that site? Or you can go and see that, I have 100 sites in my tenant, but probably 50 of them don't get any traffic, and probably we shouldn't be keeping them public. So you can get insights like these. Of course, for richer insights, you can easily integrate tools like App Insights, Google Analytics. But what we give you here is out of the box. And the final is the Copilot usage. So we know that a lot of Copilots will get created across pages, across apps, across flows. And we wanted to make sure that we make it easy for admins to control, govern, and act on those Copilots. And there's a Copilot hub in the new PPAC experience where you can not just see the usage insights on Copilots, you also get very granular controls. So when I talk about Power Pages, you get granular controls to the level that you can even switch off or on form filling for a particular website. Let's say you want to keep summarization out for everyone, but you want a certain insight or a certain kind of Copilot just for your internal usage. So you can do that. OK, so what I'll do is I'll show you a quick demo of a couple of things I spoke about. Yeah. 4. So let me go to the security view, which I was talking about. If you see, this is the security view in the new PPAC experience. You can easily identify the new PPAC experience because it's green in color. The older one was purple. And if you see, you have cards on top, which tells you how many sites have anonymous access to Dataverse table. How many sites have not enabled web application firewall. And web application firewall is something we give out of the box. So probably this is a good information for you to go and check with the maker that why haven't they enabled it. How many have external authentication enabled? How many websites you need to renew the SSL certificate key? All information like this. And the second one was the deep scan, which I was talking about. So you can see across your tenant, if there are, let's say, X number of sites, how many of those sites have run a deep scan, and in what status are they in? Are they largely green, or are they in red? So that you can go and talk to the maker and make them run the scan. But we have gone a step ahead. You can run the scan yourself from this surface. You don't have to go to the maker surface. Let's say it's a critical workload, and you want to run the scan and see what kind of reports it's generating, you can do it. Again, like you can see authentication providers here. You can see sites with integration, probably. You can see For example, there's one site with Stripe integration. You might want to know that what this site is doing because it's a payment integration. So you get a bird's eye view of everything related to security here. And I'll just touch upon one more surface, which is called the Power Advisor. And anyone who uses PPAC Admin Center knows that Power Advisor is the single point of most pointed recommendations across your tenant. And we have new recommendations when it comes to Power Pages. So we will tell you that if there are sites which are still on the old data model, which needs to be migrated. Let's say there are sites which are using Bootstrap version 3, and you want to migrate them to 5. And you can also take inline actions in some of these cases. For example, you can go and enable the WAF from here for a list of sites. And again, this again goes back to we want to make things easy for you. We want to make sure you can take bulk actions, and you can do it all from your surfaces without going here and there. OK, with that, I'll end the demo. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rahul. So some really exciting capabilities there, some really exciting introductions of Gen AI on both the conversational and autonomous agentic experiences. And in a first ever, we're going to end slightly early and give time for Q&A. Before we do that, if you're interested in Power Pages, even if you're a longtime user of Power Pages, please snap both these QR codes and save these links. The team's taken a lot of time to write both an architecture white paper on how to properly architect websites for Power Pages, as well as a security white paper that we update fairly regularly with all of the new capabilities and guidance. So reading these ahead of time and internalizing them, and then engaging your Microsoft account team, or even better, your partner, and I know there's some partners in the room, some great ones, around these things will make things a lot smoother and easier as you set these things up in the future. So again, my name's Justin Graham. This is Rahul Day. Thank you both in person and online for attending, and hope you have a great show. And we'll be up here for another 3 to 5 minutes for Q&A if you need it. Thank you.